Hey YouTube family, it's your girl Cindy. Welcome back to my channel. On this channel, we break down relationship dynamics in real life and on TV. Check out my playlist in the description after this video. Please take a moment to click that subscribe button, y'all. Every subscriber matters. I am really trying to grow on YouTube, so help your girl out. Today, I will be reviewing Married at First Sight, Season 13, Episode 14. So Decision Day is just 2 weeks away, and it's time for the couples retreat. Can I just say this retreat has been one of the worst ones I've seen on Married at First Sight, and not because quote-unquote Hurricane K was in the building, but it was just weird amongst most of the couples. I'm not sure if I should come in hot or leave the main event for last, but let's get into this foolishness. We'll kick things off with Rachel and Jose, since they have the least going on. Once they had that blow up a few episodes ago, I keep forgetting that they're even on the show. They were the second couple to arrive at the Red Barn Ranch style getaway, and we hear Rachel saying she wants to focus on her marriage, especially when it's going well or that it's working. And I'm like, okay, Rachel, whatever that means. I still don't see how or why she has been so forgiving toward Jose, but if she likes it, I love it. They will probably both say yes on Decision Day, but it's only a matter of time before Jose and his whiteboard tells Rachel to bounce once again, because I don't see any active effort on his part to work on having better communication and or coping skills. So good luck, Rachel. Next, we have Mirla and Gil, aka Girla. They were actually the third couple to arrive at the retreat. And of course, Mirla is doing what she does best, which is complain about the accommodations and expressing that she wish they had their own separate spaces. It's like, girl, haven't you watched the show before? They never have their own space for the retreat. Isn't the point of the retreat for the couples to connect with each other and to also help one another think through some of the things before Decision Day? Anyway, these two were showing some PDA in the kitchen, and I was here for it. We learned that Mirla used to enjoy riding horses as a young girl, so they chose to go horseback riding for their activity together. Gil was scared, but he was a good sport, and he stepped out of his comfort zone for his wife, which was really sweet. She was teasing him about being afraid, and he told her that he had a healthy fear, which I thought was cute. I think they have a direct yet fun way of communicating with each other. Although Gil seems to always call Mirla out on her behavior, which can come across as him constantly criticizing her because she tends to complain about everything, which can be quite annoying. She is receptive to Gil expressing how he feels about things, which I think is a great attitude to have if you want a successful marriage. As I stated last week, Gil is honest with her without being mean, and she is willing to work on the things about her attitude that will help her to grow as a person and grow in this marriage. Side note, do you all realize how Mirla never spills any tea about Gil when the girls get together to chat about their guys? But she sure enough is listening, so she and Gil can have some real nice pillow talk afterwards. They are too funny. I am really rooting for them. I wish them all the best, and I can't wait to see how things unfold for them beyond Decision Day. On to Brett and Ryan. I want to start by saying it was really sweet of the cast to come together and give Brett a moment along with some gifts to honor Baxter. I thought that was amazing and really sweet of them to do for her. She really deserved that. So as they are riding in the car together for the retreat, Brett tells Ryan she spoke to his sister and she repeated what Sis had said about how Ryan is probably distracted. And Ryan got defensive, but he didn't deny what was said, which I thought was really interesting. And he tells Brett she basically needs to pick up on his actions and that he doesn't feel the need to spell things out for her, which I thought was extremely rude and insensitive. He's been trying to act like Mr. Nice Guy this whole time, but that was a very nice, nasty way of trying to put Brett in her place. He was really getting on my nerves this episode. He's avoidant, but then he wants to get defensive after he was the one who told Brett to call him out when he's being distant. I'm glad Brett finally called him out on his ish this episode and pointed out how he gets defensive after he told her to call him out. He tries to tell us, the viewers, that he was hoping the retreat would bring him and her closer because he, is really trying. And the moment that he said he's trying, she starts pulling back. And it's nice for him to be in his element. What planet are you living on, Ryan? Just because you're in your element doesn't mean it's time for you guys to do what you enjoy and that Brett should just go along with whatever you want, because she tried to put together something in your element and you completely ignored her last episode. You didn't hug her, kiss her, thank her for even putting in the effort to put something together that would put you in your element. So I'm not sure why you thought being in your quote unquote element at this retreat was going to bring you guys closer. You've given Brett the cold shoulder all this time and now you want to act lovey-dovey. Boy, bye. He was somewhat offended that Brett didn't want to share a room with him at the ranch. And I think it was Zach that said, what's the difference since you guys aren't sleeping in the same room back at the shared apartment anyway? And of course, Ryan couldn't make it make sense. So he just said, good question. Ryan is full of it and Brett just needs to cut her losses and move on with her life. So on to Bao and Johnny. They had an interesting time at this retreat since they spent most of their time apart from each other. We hear Bao saying in her confessional that she's excited to reconnect with all the other couples, but not so much with Johnny. And she sure enough had herself a good old time, and it was nice to see her having fun. Bao admits to the other ladies that she's been extremely patient with Johnny, even though he's been really mean, and she's just had enough. And I was happy to see she finally came to the realization that she deserves better, and she was able to express how she felt out loud with confidence. Bao opened up about the parallel in her and her parents' marriage. She explained although her parents have been married for over 50 years, she remembers as a little girl her father being really mean to her mom, and she would tell herself she wouldn't deal with something like that in her own marriage, but then she fell into the trap. We as humans do what we learn and know. It takes a lot of effort and awareness to do and be better. Many people put up with way more than they should when it comes to relationships, and it's a fine line to decide when to give someone some grace and when to call it quits. No one knows what they will do in a situation until they are in that situation. Abuse comes in different forms. Most people think physical abuse is the only abuse that should make someone leave a relationship. Scars from physical abuse usually heal over time, but mental and emotional abusive scars can last a lifetime. I really hope Bao requests a divorce on decision day. I mean, word on the street, she is in a new relationship, but Johnny has put her through way too much. He doesn't need to be in any relationship. He has a lot of inner work to do, and I hope this process will help him to realize he needs to work on his issues and become a better person. Last, but certainly not least, we have Michaela and Zach. So Zach is telling us, the viewers, that he and Michaela made up after last week's argument, but he wants an apology for what she did. But Zach, you left first. These men really want the royal treatment this season. They act up, then expect the women to be the only ones to be held accountable, and it really irks my nerves. Both Zach and Michaela are immature. They should not have been chosen to be on Married at First Sight, but at the same time, they are a visual example of what can happen when two people are not ready for marriage. I hope those who are watching this season are not just watching to judge and criticize, but to evaluate themselves and their own relationships. These two are a trigger for me because personally, when I got married 12 years ago, my husband and I didn't have the tools we needed for a successful marriage. We were two people who came from broken families, relying on what we knew at the time to navigate something that was foreign to us. It started as a beautiful love story, then it became toxic, and I tried to do all that I could to get us back on track, but I learned the hard way that one person cannot carry a marriage on their own. It takes two for a relationship to become toxic, and it also takes two to repair the relationship. I say all that to say that both Zach and Michaela play a role in this downward spiral. We see them stop off prior to arriving at the ranch to talk, and Michaela mentioned she had spoken to her sisters and Zach's brothers. She explained she needed her own space and she was able to pinpoint her triggers, but she didn't explain what her triggers were. Zach is questioning Michaela, but he isn't expressing how he's feeling about anything. He asked her, what do they do well in their relationship? And at first she said she didn't know. Then she said they have fun together when doing activities. Many relationships and marriages only thrive when there are distractions, i.e. activities, kids, work, etc. If you can't enjoy your partner without activities or distractions, then you are not really building a foundation for success. You are more so tolerating each other and being avoidant. We saw how the pandemic brought on so many divorces, and that is because a lot of couples do not truly enjoy, love, or understand their partner, which is really sad. So Zach tells Michaela he's looking forward to sleeping in the same bed because it's always fun, which really means he wants to get it in. And it seems like he is only sticking around to get paid for being on the show and getting laid every night, which is upsetting. I can understand how Michaela might feel like he's using her when it's convenient for him. Both conversations during this episode between Michaela and Zach were hella confusing, childish, and it just made no sense. The previews throughout the season made her outburst seem worse than it really was. I do think she overreacted, but I do also think Zach was doing things to get a reaction. How much sense does it really make to get divorced but continue on dating? I was just like, what are they even talking about right now? And even though she did tell him to leave, he could have just went to the living room area. In my opinion, he made the situation worse by leaving as he usually does, and I think that really sent Michaela over the edge. Leaving someone over and over when they have abandonment issues is abusive and will cause an over-the-top reaction. And although I feel like he was provoking her, she didn't put hands on him. So Lifetime did the absolute most, trying to make it seem like she beat him down or something. This episode really got under my skin with the stereotypical angry black woman narrative. Zach is not innocent in this whole situation. I honestly think what Jose did to Rachel was worse than what quote unquote Hurricane Kate did. But what do you all think? Comment below. Thankfully, this is almost over. Join me here next week. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.